Hello and welcome back to Boss Battles of Wraeclast, the somewhat comprehensive guide to the various bosses in Path of Exile 2. In today's episode we are taking on Asinia The Praetor's Consort, and she can be located in the Cemetery of the Eternals, and you're looking for another tomb that looks very similar to Draven's. This one is called Tomb of the Consort. Okay, this is Asinia's boss room. She has a checkpoint, like all bosses, and she spawns in the centre of the room, very similar to the Draven fight. She'll appear as a soul, slam into the ground, and then she will spawn a few seconds later. She also has the 4 graves, again the same as the Draven fight, which are located around her spawning location. Now, one of her main abilities she will use very shortly, this one right here, the 4 circles that she spawns on the floor, that is called Rite of the Fourth Moon. She uses it throughout the Draven fight as well, so when Draven calls for her help, that is the ability she will use. Again, all you have to really do with that ability is just keep moving, make sure you avoid getting hit by those circles. The first 3 she spawn will be moderately sized, and the 4th one will be larger, and they can hit quite hard. So again, if you don't have any fire resist, it's going to be quite dangerous this fight. She does do a lot of spell and fire damage, so make sure you're avoiding those 4 circles. You can see the 3 smaller ones there and then the larger one afterwards. One thing you'll notice is that she does have a similar ability to Draven with the souls that spawn at the edge of the room and then get slowly dragged towards her. Again, all you have to do with those souls is walk over them to get them to stop, to disappear, but if you do that near one of the 4 graves around her spawn location, it will spawn an Eternal Protector, one of the big kind of shielded skeleton warriors. So again, you will have some extra adds in this fight. You can see one of them spawning up out of the grave there. The next ability is this bone circle that she spawns. She will trap your character with a circle of bone spikes, and then after about 5 seconds of being trapped in there, she will summon these multiple fireballs that fall from the roof. In order to get out of that bone spike circle, all you have to do is attack the edge of the wall, just one of the wall segments. When you break it down, it's large enough for your character to just walk out. So again, it doesn't take a lot of damage, it's usually 1 or 2 hits and that wall segment will fall down, and then you can get out of the bone circle. The next ability she'll use will be the multiple fireballs that she'll summon from her character. They will kind of land randomly in a pattern around her character. Some of them do appear to go straight for your character. You can see them all there. They just kind of slammed into the ground. And they do summon one after another, so it's kind of multiple hits in a big area around her. Some will land in front, some will land behind. It even looks as though some of them aim for your character as well. You can see them all there. It's kind of random where they go. When you see her character start shaking and kind of bends over a little bit, once you see her start doing that, I start running away. It's usually head for the edge of the room. If you can get far enough away from her, none of those fireballs will hit you. Maybe a couple might stray a bit too far and catch you with them. They don't do a lot of damage if 1 fireball hits you, but there are multiples of them, so try not to get hit by many of them because it will hit quite hard. One of her other abilities is a conal kind of bone spikes that she summons up out of the ground. She does it right in front of her character, so again you can dodge roll out of the way to avoid it, but it doesn't deal a huge amount of damage anyway, so I wouldn't be too worried about getting hit by that. And she does have a few melee attacks. If you stand in melee range, she will swipe at you with the blade that she's holding. Sometimes that blade will be glowing green and it will hinder you, which is a 30% movement speed debuff, which she'll kind of put on your character. You can kind of tell because there's this kind of green ghostly effect around my character now. He is affected by that hinder. It's a 30% movement speed debuff, so just be aware of being hit by her melee attacks. And then finally, she will do the same thing that Draven does during her fight, which is that she will periodically call for Draven to come and assist her. He will appear as a ghost, and he will do his sword swipe ability, as you can see right there, which spawns that big circle of fireball attacks. They don't hit very hard, they don't seem to do extra damage if she's empowered by souls, but I'd still try and block or dodge roll them just to avoid being hit. And that is pretty much the Asinia fight in a nutshell. There isn't a huge amount different that she does. Now, she does get extra damage on her abilities if she's empowered by a soul, but with most of her abilities you can pretty much avoid being hit by them completely. It's not like the Draven fight where he will get empowered by a soul and he will just constantly chase your character around trying to melee attack you. A lot of her abilities you can completely avoid and not worry too much about them. But because you're having to constantly avoid abilities, you don't get a huge window of opportunity to keep attacking her. So it's just a case of avoiding abilities and taking opportunities to get some attacks in whilst you can. But yeah, that is the Asinia fight. She will drop her memorial key piece. You'll also notice that some of my items look a bit different when they've dropped on the ground, because I am using an item filter, finally. So yes, and she will also give you a portal to the Cemetery of the Eternals. You will need her key piece in order to progress the quest, so make sure you pick that up. And that is the Asinia fight. Thank you everybody for watching, I hope you've enjoyed, and we'll catch you in the next episode.